All right, so now what we want to do is a second little coding challenge. And so what we're going to be doing is setting up variables for age, is citizen, and is registered. The initial values are going to be set to 19, that's for age, true, that's for is citizen, and true again for is registered. Now, in order to vote in this theoretical country that we're living in, a person must be 18, a citizen, and registered. Okay, again, this is going to be for a made-up country. So we want to use the logical AND operator along with an if statement to check and see if a person can vote. So if they can vote, we want to log a little message to the console just saying that you can vote. Now, we also want to use an else statement to give the user a custom message that explains why they can't vote. So this part right here might be a little bit challenging for you. You should be thinking about using string concatenation, okay, and a series of if statements. So go ahead and pause the video and try this guy on your own. Just see if you can get it. If you can, it's fine. If you can't, just think about it for 5 or 10 minutes. See if you can come up with a solution, and I'll be here to help you. So go ahead and pause the video and try it on your own. So hopefully you are able to complete this challenge. I'm going to give myself some room here. And I'm just going to start off by declaring some variables. So I'm going to come up here. Remember, we want to declare variables for age, is citizen, and is registered. The values aren't going to really change right now. So I'm just going to use const. I'm going to go age is equal to, let's go 19. And then I'm going to go const, and then it was is citizen. Okay, and that was true. And then we have const is registered. Okay, and that was true as well. Now, if we come back up here, it says we want to use the logical AND operator along with an if statement to check and see if a person or a given person, doesn't matter who it is, we're just going to base it on the variables, can vote. Okay, so I'm going to use my little if statement, and I'm going to say if, I'm going to say age is greater than or equal to 18. Okay, then I'm going to use the logical AND operator. I'm going to say is citizen. Okay, well, you can do is registered first. It doesn't matter. Popped up first. Now, remember, you don't have to put triple equals to true. Okay, I just want to say this one more time. Because this is a Boolean, okay, this is either going to be true or false, you can just put the variable name. Okay, so it's going to look at it and say, is this true or false? Then I'm going to go and, I'm going to go is citizen. Okay, so that sets up my if statement. I just want to put some curly braces here and then write a little console.log statement. And I'll say something like, yay, you can vote. Okay, and then I'll even do like a little emoji. Let's put like some sunglasses or something pretty cool. Okay, so let's do that. And let's come over here. And let's go ahead and run this guy. So let's open up the terminal. And let's go ahead and run this. We get, yay, you can vote. Okay, so the second part of this, if we come back up here, this is a little bit more complicated. What we want to do here is use an else statement to give the user a custom message that explains why they can't vote. Now, if you're just doing something like this to say else, and you just do console.log, something like, sorry, you can't vote. And let me put an emoji in here. Let me do something like, maybe just like a sad face, something like that. So we'll do that, and then we'll put this here, and let me kind of put in semicolon at the end. Well, if I go up here and change this, let's say you change any of these. It doesn't matter which one. Let's start by changing this one. So let's change this one to false. Okay, so is citizen is no longer true. So the person's old enough and they're registered, but they're not a citizen. Okay, so let's pop this open and clear this and run this. We get, sorry, you can't vote. Okay, but what we want is actually a custom message where it says, sorry, you can't vote. And then it also says you need to, in this particular case, be a citizen. Okay, so what we'll do here is set up a little variable, and I'm going to set it inside of the else block. Okay, now we'll talk about something called variable scope here shortly. For right now, when I declare this inside of the else block, I can only use it inside of the else block. Okay, I can't use it outside. So I'm going to say something like let, and I'll just do my message. Okay, and first I'm just going to say sorry, comma, you can't vote. Okay, I'm going to start with that, and I'll put my emoji back in there. So let me put the sad guy. Where did that guy go? Oh, he's right here. First one. Okay, so let's put an exclamation point here too, and let's finish this off. Okay, so now what I want to do is set up some little if statements, and I want to check each one of these guys. So the first thing I'm going to check is I'm going to say if the age is less than 18, well, then what I want to do is I want to add on to this message. So remember how to do that. We're going to do string concatenation. We're going to go my message. I'm going to go plus equals. Okay, so I'm going to be adding on to this. And what I'll do is I'll put a space at the start of it, okay, because otherwise it's going to slap it right directly to the end of this. So I'll put a little space, and in this case I'll say, you aren't old enough to vote. Okay, so then let's come down here and do another if statement. Okay, so we've already checked this one, so let's now do another if statement. And I want to say, is the isCitizen variable false? So remember, you can do this isCitizen like this, triple equals to false. And again, we haven't gotten to the logical not operator, but I showed you in the last lesson that you could use this guy right here to flip something. So here we're just asking, is the isCitizen variable false? Okay, if it is, well, in this case, we want my message. We want plus equals, and we'll put a space here. We'll say, you aren't a citizen yet. Okay, and let's put this here. And then the last one, okay, I'll put one more if statement. And here I'm going to put the logical not operator again, and then I'll do the is registered. Okay, so again, this is just checking to see if it's false. If it is, I want to add on to that my message variable, so plus equals, and then I'm again put a space here, and I'll just say you have to register to vote. Okay, so that's pretty simple, pretty easy. The only thing that you might be a little bit confused about is all these different if statements. We're used to having an if statement and then an associated else statement. Okay, if you change this to else if or else, only one of them is going to run. Okay, but if you have an if statement, it's always going to check the condition inside. And if that condition evaluates to true, it's going to run it. Okay, so by putting just if statements, it's going to check this one, it's going to check this one, it's going to check this one. Okay, if you use an if here and then an else if here and an else here, it's only going to run one of them. Okay, so it's important to understand that. All right, so we've already changed one of these. We changed the isCitizen to false. So here we should start out by saying, sorry, you can't vote. And then because the isCitizen again is set to false, when we get to this if statement here, the isCitizen is false, so this will evaluate to true. And so this guy right here, you get you aren't a citizen yet, which will get slapped onto the end of that string. Okay, so let's pop this open and run this. We don't get anything. So there's a mistake here. And I actually forgot to do a console.log statement. So after all of these if statements, you want to just console.log the my message variable. Okay, so that's the error there. So let's clear this and run this, and we get sorry you can't vote. You aren't a citizen yet. Okay, and if you change this back to, let's say, true, and let's say you make this false, well, now the is registered is going to fail. Okay, so pop this open and let's run this. We get sorry you can't vote. You have to register to vote. And then if you come back up here, and again, you change this to true, and let's say you make the age something like 14, okay, so we clear this and run this, we get sorry you can't vote, you aren't old enough to vote. And again, you can play around with this as much as you want. Let's say you made all of them to where they fail, okay, so now the person isn't old enough, they're not a citizen, and they didn't register. So we would expect to see 3 different things, right? So sorry you can't vote, you aren't old enough to vote, you aren't a citizen yet, and then you don't or you have to register to vote. Okay, so that's pretty much it for this one. Hopefully you were able to at least get some of it. Again, if you're not getting through the whole thing without me going through it, that's not a big deal, okay? You can always come back to this challenge a few days from now and think about it fresh, okay? When the solution is not in your mind, try to work your way through it again just to kind of reinforce some of the concepts.